What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing how you can cheese the absolute crap out of the first encounter of the Vesper's Host dungeon just added into Destiny 2 within episode Revenant. This will allow you to farm those juicy dungeon weapons and Artifice armor. And so, let's get started. Now, a lot of you guys were familiar with the original first encounter cheese, where you could, as you can see here, as you are planting nuclear cores into the deposit stations, you could swap weapons just before you were finished planting them, and you could drop the nuclear core on the ground while also planting it, therefore allowing your teammate to pick it up and continue to dupe it, so you could get all three of those nuclear core plants done very quickly. This was, again, an extremely effective and fast cheese for the first encounter. But, as you can see right here, it got nerfed. You can no longer dupe the nuclear cores. Or can you? Because it turns out there is a couple of new cheeses for this first encounter we are going to be going over. Now, the first one is an updated version of the nuclear core duping. So, instead of planting it into the deposit station and then dropping it, instead, you're simply going to have your teammate grab it from you as you drop it. So as you can see right here, you can still dupe nuclear cores if you drop the nuclear core just before your teammate takes the nuclear core from you. And again, you can see it being done successfully in the background gameplay. So simply have your teammate go ready, set, drop just before they are done completely grabbing that nuclear core, and again, you have the chance to dupe it. Now, you could also just spam drop and grab over and over again and hope for the best, and a massive tip for doing this, just like the old cheese for this encounter, it's mostly connection based. So, as you can see, we were having a really hard time getting the dupe done, and then I simply opened an 8K YouTube videos like animals in 8K, played that, you can literally see the frames drop, and then we're able to successfully dupe it. So the same thing you did with the crafting is just, maybe take a trip somewhere on your VPN, or again, play an 8K video, or if you just naturally have high ping, you're going to be able to dupe these really easily. Once all of these are duped, you can easily just go out of this room right here. Now keep in mind, we specifically went to this section of the first encounter, to the blue room, because then you can hang out in this room, which is basically halfway through the hallway to that blue room where you initially get the nuclear core. My point is, once you kill all the enemies, you're pretty safe in this room. You have infinite time to do this dupe correctly, and no enemies are going to pressure you from the outside. And once the dupes are done successfully, you can easily go out, drop them for 2 seconds, melt the boss, and then plant all three to get this encounter done extremely fast. So, this is really going to become the most efficient way to farm the first encounter over and over again. Grab a checkpoint on a different character and just load in, do this, and you can get that loot extremely fast. Now, once you get the timing of the dupes done and you can do it consistently, you can even increase the difficulty to master and farm Artifice armor at the same time. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more difficult, but again, you only have to do, 1/3 of the first encounter, and then you are good to go for that Artifice drop potentially. Now, there is a downside, and that downside is that you do require a team. So, we actually have another first encounter cheese. This one is going to bypass the first encounter entirely, and it's a lot more solo friendly. So, what the heck is that? Well, what you can do is, first of all, you do need to start the encounter initially, then you simply jump up here, and we're going to be heading out of bounds. You're going to drop down onto this piece of metal scaffolding, and then jump on this object right here, jump across the stairway, and simply follow the route you see me take within the background gameplay. The tricky part is right here. You essentially need to follow the curvature of these walls here. You go, and then when you see you've reached the corner of these two walls, you kind of walk across, as you can see right here, and then once you get to this other wall, you turn and head this way, and that's going to allow you to get up onto this surface, and then at this point, you need the Salvation's Grip or a Stasis Glacier Grenade, because what you're doing is, as you can see, I shoot the Salvation's Grip right before this ledge, then I shoot out all the ice, and I have one small Stasis Crystal right here before the ledge. This allows me to jump on top of the crystal and then do a running slide and slide into this zone right here. Then you go along the top here, drop down to the first level right here, right where you see these kind of big metal pillars. You squeeze through the metal pillars and boom. You then drop down and you have essentially skipped over the first encounter. You can see as I head forward towards this next section, the enemies spawn as they normally would, as if I'd already completed the first encounter. But at this point, you actually need to run back towards the first encounter to kind of trigger a checkpoint. So you can run back to like the wall here and then keep running forward. And now you're maybe wondering, okay, you just went past the first encounter. How the heck is this a cheese? Like, how are you going to get your loot? Well, it turns out the first encounter triggers when 3 nuclear cores are planted. And it doesn't care where you plant these nuclear cores. So as you can see right here, you can literally just go and plant the nuclear cores in the next section, in the encounter that's between the first and second encounter. And once you plant 3 nuclear cores here, like you plant on station number 1, 2, and then as you can see when I hit 3, then I actually get rewards pop up because the first encounter auto completes. Now, you won't see actual dungeon loot pop up because it's back at the chest, but trust me, I was doing this live on stream last night. It absolutely works. If any of your teammates are still at the first encounter, they can just run up to the chest and pick up the loot. And again, if you're doing full runs, especially of the dungeon, this will absolutely speed things up because, I mean, you can completely skip the first encounter and then be halfway done with that traversal encounter and then just drag everyone to the second encounter boss fight once you're done. And again, like you can even do this solo, even in Master. Obviously, some people may have some trouble planting those nuclear cores in that traversal section by themselves. But again, this is just another first encounter cheese I want to share with you guys. So whether you're doing the new ball duping strat or this, complete skip strat, either way, depending on what you're actually doing, is going to potentially help you farm the crap out of that first encounter, which of course is an extremely juicy encounter because both the new area denial frame velocity baton and also the chill inhibitor heavy stasis grenade launcher both drop from that first encounter. So again, some extremely valuable weapons to go after. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.